Benvenido to episode 3. Spent a week in Mexico. Little unintended cultural anthropology, participant observation. It's always nice to see how different cultures exist, especially one of my closest neighbors to the south after the implication of NAFTA, and see where that society is evolving. Also, it's nice to know, monologue into dialogue, a little feedback, that there are others like me, like you, like us, that have 30 boxes of books or more. I did find a book a long time ago. Um, Somebody who died, and when they went to his apartment, I don't know if it was Spain or Portugal, and he had chests or boxes of not just books but notebooks. And how many independent researchers like us, obsessed with the mind, trying to do all this. Yes, there's the internet, global brain, and blogs, and all the technology that can help link everything together, and it is being done. But for many of us, think for the sake of thinking, art for the art of art. So, but let's get a lot to cover. It's been a while. Wine, of course, the dominant theme. This wine here, if I could focus, in Daba, it's a Chenin Blanc from South Africa. Indaba is the traditional Zulu forum for sharing ideas. So, yeah, of course there's a connection. Dionysus, Bacchus. It's all about the Vino. Also, if you check, Scientific American, they get the special on the mind. Not only do I keep up with science, but science of the mind, of course. Book reviews. So many books coming out, always coming out. I only have time for the reviews nowadays. I can't even begin to buy all the books that come out. I wish I could. This one, A Mind of Its Own, How Your Brain Distorts and Deceives. What I liked about it is about the unconscious. Lacan, language is structured like the unconscious. So Lacanian psychoanalysis is very fitting to analyze culture. And speaking of culture, get back to Mexico and Italy and how I juxtapose the two cultures. Anyway, I guess one good thing for us, the negative attitude, the glass half empty kind of pessimism. People say, don't be so negative, don't be so down, be happy. Ironically, one category of persons shows that it is possible to view life through a clearer lens, to see reality as it is. They are the clinically depressed. Don't over-exaggerate, don't generalize that the sun will always come out tomorrow. This other book called Cunning, very interesting. It recently started to get back into game theory, studying that for business applications. But it's got 3 sections. First one is Dilemmas, which covers Machiavelli, one of my favorite political theorists. Appearances, and then the final section, how appropriate, Despair. Juxtaposing a couple of British philosophers, Thomas Hobbes and David Hume. Thomas Hobbes, Leviathan, life is short, nasty, and brutish, of course. And we get to the postmodern American beauty, suburban angst that is a condition of our present society. In this book, the reviewer titles Land of the Empty, The Price of Privilege, How Parental Pressure and Freudian, Slippage, Advantage are creating a generation of disconnected and unhappy kids. Wow, fancy that. Wandering among suburban estates, sport clubs, and prep schools. Overlooked are the children of a perplexed generation. Yeah. Their lives, an abundance and praise, yet ironically mask an apparent health. A gloomy world of emptiness, anxiety, and anger. Existentialism? Hello? World War I, World War II? It comes from affluent, well-educated families, clinically depressed, substance abuse, eating disorders, self-destructed, self-mutilating. Yeah, study that too. That's interesting. Overindulgent products of wealthy, narcissistic parents, struggling to fill their inner emptiness with objects and praise. Competitive pressure, parental overinvolvement, underinvolvement, overindulgence, creating false promises of fulfillment, yearning, Lacanian lack, vulnerable to the delusion of wealth. Yeah, who isn't? It's called marketing, it's called the middle class, it's called 60% of the gross domestic product is consumption. Remember, not a time here? It's supposed to be short. Anyway, capitalism breeds hypocrisy, and that's, it started another book, kind of late to the game on Freakonomics. It's all about incentive systems. That's all economics. P. Who P on me? Political economic existence. Wandering the bookshelves again, like I always do. For lunch, I walk over to Borders and for the bookshelves, the books I want to buy and can't buy, but end up buying a couple anyway. The Disposable American: Layoffs and Their Consequences. Yes, we're all disposable. Is the American Dream Killing You? How the Market Rules Our Lives. Now, I did end up buying that one. Of the many books I have, I did end up buying Is the American Dream Killing You? And what I found interesting among the notes I took, all my books are filled with those pictograms, is that the guy who wrote it, the author, at the end of the Cold War, was an intelligence officer for the National Security Agency, yeah, right, NSA, no such agency, and then worked the stock market for Merrill Lynch and did that. And as we know, anybody from an intelligence agency at certain levels provide insightful. The Pentagon Papers, Vietnam. There's another guy that wrote something too and didn't quite make it. I don't know what happened to him. By the way, thank you for smoking. Mod, Merchants of Death, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. It is the American way. Generation Me, why today's young Americans are more confident, assertive, entitled, and more miserable than ever. Strapped, why America's 20 and 30-somethings can't get ahead. The two-income trap, why middle-class mothers and fathers are going broke. Credit Card Nation, the consequence of America's addiction to credit. There's another book too, Affluence. Born to Buy, the commercialized child in the new consumer culture. Yeah, Merchants of Cool. Infotopia, how many minds produce knowledge. Well, yeah, we get back to the whole global knowledge thing, yeah. Branded, freaks, geeks, and cool kids, consuming kids, no logo, no space, no choice, no jobs. The list goes on and on. Then we get into politics, which we'll cover later, because I think I've overextended my stay.